What else do we have? Motivation. How do you guys do it? It's by far the hardest part. I know it's silly to expect changes right away. How do you keep the faith even when you can't see anything happening? Well, he mentioned an important word there, faith. Faith is critical. And, whether that's spiritual faith and, God having a plan for you and that you're on the right path, we could talk about that, but I know I've already kind of talked about that earlier. So, the cool thing about faith is that before I ever learned to believe in God, I actually learned what faith meant because of fitness. Fitness will tell you how important faith is because he's exactly right. When you start going to the gym and you start dieting, you're going to have this false belief that you're going to see results in a week or in 2 weeks or by the end of the month. And that's just not realistic. The body can only grow 1 or 2 pounds of muscle per month. And that's like even when you're in the newbie stages where you get the most possible gains. You can lose a decent amount of fat in a month, so you can make some pretty good visual changes there. But even then, 1 month is just not that long of a period of time in the grand scheme of things, and you can't accomplish that much in 1 month. And so that can be pretty discouraging when you're starting out, because it's like, I went from this sedentary lifestyle where I was exercising 0 hours a day, and I'm coming from a lifestyle to where I wasn't measuring any of my food and I was eating like shit, and I cleaned up all of that, and I started going to the gym 3, 4, 5 times a week, and you're still telling me after a month I'm not going to look that different? I get it. Like, that's a pretty discouraging introduction to the fitness lifestyle. And here's the thing. This is what separates the men from the boys and the people who have faith and the people who don't. You have to have faith that continuing to do that will give you results in some number of months. You just have to have faith that it's true. If you're sitting there skeptical, like, all that dieting I did didn't actually do anything, it wasn't actually worth it, all these gym sessions, because I don't look different yet, they were a waste of time, they were useless. If you have that negative mindset and you don't have faith that what you're doing matters, then you will fail. You are what you believe. And if you believe that this stuff is a waste of time, then you are wasting your time. You have to believe that every single gym session and every single meal that you eat correctly matters. That is faith. Belief is synonymous for faith. So the key to motivation, I heard a great quote several years ago from Sadiq Hadzovic, who's a men's physique bodybuilder. Somebody asked him the same question. How do you stay motivated? It's like, it's really hard, because I'm not getting results fast enough, and it feels like I'm going to have to do this forever. It seems like it's easier for other people than it is for me. So how do I stay motivated? Like, I don't know if you guys heard it, but they were fucking mowing the grass outside after they blew all the leaves. Sounds like maybe they finally stopped. Very aggravating this morning. So that question, how do you stay motivated? He red-pilled everybody with his response. He says, you don't. Motivation is a fleeting feeling. Motivation is the spark, or it's the kindling to the fire that gets you started, but it disappears pretty easily and pretty quickly, especially when something bad happens. You wake up in the morning and you have a work day ahead of you and all the stuff, and then you say you're going to go to the gym after your work, right? And so you're all motivated. I'm going to hit the gym after work. I'm going to hit the gym after work. And then you have a really shitty work day. Whether it's your boss getting on to you or the customers are mean to you, by the end of the workday coming, you're emotionally drained and you're feeling negative, and it's no coincidence that, what happened to all that motivation? Oh, it's fucking gone. Because your emotional state took a hit during the day. And that's just using work as an example. The same thing is going to happen when you get broken up with. The same thing is going to happen when you fail a test at school. The same thing is going to happen when somebody dies in your family. Like, negative, emotionally disruptive things happen all the time to everybody. And those negative, disruptive events, guess what they do? They kill your motivation. You get injured, for example. Things were going so well. I was finally consistent with the gym. I was eating right. Oh, fuck, I got injured. What happens to your motivation then? That's when people fall off. Like, that's the truth. As soon as the motivation stops, that's when they stop. And so the question is, okay, if you're telling me I'm not always going to have motivation, I'm not always going to feel motivated to do what I know I'm supposed to do, how do I go about doing it if I don't feel motivated? This goes back to what we talked about for many different subjects in this fucking same episode. It's self-discipline. Discipline is what creates the long-term results, not motivation. This is the red pill that you have to grasp. Because everybody always asks, how do I get motivated? How do I stay motivated? And the response is, you don't. Nobody does. It's not motivation that creates a top-tier physique. It's discipline. And so you ask, okay, well, how do I get disciplined? If you're saying that's the thing I need because I'm not going to be able to rely on motivation, how do I get discipline to do the right things despite bad things happening, despite discouraging things happening? There's no shortcut to discipline. The only way you gain discipline is by making the hardest choice every time the decision comes up. Whether it's a choice about what food to eat versus not to eat, whether it's about going to the gym versus canceling the gym session, whether it's taking the supplements in the morning, the multivitamin, the fish oil, drinking the gallon of water, you're in control of all of these things. The world isn't in control of all of these things. You are in 100% control over whether or not you make the right decision in all those scenarios, and that is discipline. That's what will create the awesome physique that you, for whatever reason, think you deserve, that you haven't actually worked for yet. You will get it if you're willing to be disciplined. And no one deserves it until they are. So that's the red pill on motivation. No such thing as staying motivated. The only thing is discipline. Will lifting help me become more attractive to 18 to 21-year-old girls as a 30-year-old man? Yes, it'll help you become attractive to all females. That's just true. People can, get up in their feelings about whether or not it's appropriate for a 30-year-old to date an 18 to 21-year-old. Fuck off if you want to judge. Don't really care. Modern society has put the message in both women and men's head that there's something to be ashamed of or something to be discouraged about older men dating younger girls. And that is just completely discarding the entirety of human history and socioeconomics. Mentioned before, the whole thing about women's liberation and women thinking that they need to go pursue a career instead of pursuing having a family so that they can secure an income so that they don't need a man. Well, if you're 18 to 20-year-old woman and you simply just pursue finding the best mate long-term that you can find, then, you kind of fix everybody's problems. And it's not a coincidence that the best mate for an 18, 21-year-old girl, or any female up to, if you're assuming younger than 30, any girl below 30 is going to see a 30-year-old man as pretty attractive, assuming he has a track record of accomplishments, meaning a successful career. He successfully took care of his physical health. He has a physique that demonstrates that. He has a healthy spiritual life. He's not perpetually negative and pessimistic. And, the benefits of being 30 are that you've gone through enough negative things to understand that you can't hold on to them because they're never going to stop coming. And so if you're still holding on to negative shit from the past, more negative shit is coming that's just going to build up on top of it. So you got to sort through all the negative shit that's already happened to you, fully emotionally process it, let it go, so that you can handle the bad shit that's about to happen to you and is going to continue to happening to you. That's not to say that life is just a string of bad things, because there's tons of beautiful moments and very fulfilling moments for you to enjoy. But it's a mixed bag, and that's true for everybody. Okay. What else do we have?